Welcome to Creekside Chats with Successful Real Estate Investors, brought to you by Steve Talker Capital, promoting prosperity and harmony to help you flourish in all areas of life. Join in as we explore the motivations and goals of real estate investors and how their ability to invest abundantly has provided them with the time and freedom to contribute to the world in a creative and thoughtful way. Now please welcome your host, Dr. Allen.
Aloha investors, Dr. Allen here with Pili Yarusi, who inspires us today by sharing with us the key for which the world is searching. With Pili, let's explore bringing the harmonious balance of the world into the realm of prosperous investing. Welcome, Pili. Before we got started here, we were having an interesting discussion here about Hawaii and the Hawaii culture and language. And really, this is the first time that I realized that you were actually Hawaiian. So I'm fascinated with this, the suppression of the Hawaiian culture and language for almost 3 generations, and the resurgence or the renaissance of young people going, hey, we have a culture here we need to be proud of. I suppose it probably wasn't just young people, but probably elders were also involved in this resurgence. So talk to us about the suppression of the culture, the Renaissance, and all of those things, and how this ties into your life.
Well, first of all, thank you so much. So much aloha to you and to your listeners. For having me on. I am very honored to be here. You asked me, I don't even know how we got on this subject, but anytime somebody mentions Hawaii to me, I can talk about Hawaii all day long, because I am Hawaii and Hawaii is me. Like, I grew up there. I lived there until I was 21. I live and breathe, especially right now, and we can get into this later on, but I live and breathe the aloha spirit. I live for aloha. I'm trying to push as much aloha into the world. And if teaching people a little bit about Hawaiian history gets me there, then this is great. So we got on this subject.
Well, tell us, first of all, translate aloha.
So the easiest translation for aloha is love. And another word that I equate it to, that people seem to get what I mean by aloha, is shalom. So like shalom, aloha means so much more than love, so much more than hello and goodbye. It means kind of everything that is good and right, and everything that is love. And love itself is just such a big thing. And it's also a small thing. It can be, we make love and aloha into these like huge concepts that we don't think we can grasp, but really we know what it means.
We know what it means within our heart. Yes.
Yeah, within our heart. So that is what aloha is. It comes from deep down. It comes from deep within your heart, deep within your soul, deep within your na'au. That's another Hawaiian term. That's like your gut feeling. It's all of that. So that's what aloha means. So bringing back to your question, and we got on this because of, you asked me about COVID and how we were dealing with that. And I told you that we had to cancel our trip to Hawaii. Me and my family go at least twice a year, sometimes 3 times if we're lucky. And I love it because I just being there and being with my family it's everything to me. And we had to cancel our trip, unfortunately, but that's what we had to do. The thing is, and let's stack the positive things. The positive things that happened was that I decided that my children needed to learn Hawaiian. And the only way that they were going to do that is if they converse with my parents on a daily basis. So instead of having the weekly call during the weekend that we used to have, and sometimes we missed because, time, things got in the way. But now every day at 3:00 Eastern Standard Time, my parents call or we call them, and my children get to learn Hawaiian. They get to converse in Hawaiian with my parents. They get to watch Hawaiian cartoons. They get to know more about their culture. And this is because COVID happened. Yeah. So that is one hugely positive thing that happened, because I didn't have that choice growing up. And this is because, like I was saying, the Hawaiian culture was suppressed back in the day, especially when we became a republic. The businessmen and America that took over Hawaii didn't want Hawaiians to have their own language anymore because they wanted to be able to understand what was going on. They didn't want a revolution. They didn't want people to be able to dissent in a language that they didn't understand. So Hawaiian language, Hawaiian thought, Hawaiian culture was suppressed at this time. So much so that, and I'm talking, I know I told you my great grandparents, but I'm thinking my great great grandparents, because once foreigners came to Hawaii, I mean, you know, Hawaii, it is beautiful, it's lovely. Why wouldn't you want to be there and stay there? And it has this central place in the middle of the Pacific Ocean that made it ripe for commerce, that made it, when the ships would come through, it was the connection between the United States and Asia. I mean, it was key. It was a key place. It was a key port.
And perfect climate for so many things. It's not just, you know, it's just not location. It's just such a wonderful climate as well.
Well, the gentleman, I'm going to use that term loosely, that took over Hawaii.
Very nice. Yes. Very
that
nice
took over Hawaii.
Yes.
And it made it a republic. They were all businessmen. They were people who had stock, let's say, in the sugarcane, in the pineapple plantations, in so much that only grew in Hawaii, and the commerce and business in Hawaii, and they wanted to make sure they could control it. So they took over the government illegally and made it into a republic, and then that republic became a state. I'm not saying any of this to say anything bad about America. I'm an American. I'm here. I live in New Jersey. But this is history. This is where I come from. This is how we were brought up. So coming to the 80s, and actually the middle to late 70s. In the 70s, there was actually a renaissance. And into the 80s, that I was born into, schools, immersion schools, Hawaiian immersion schools started popping up. But it was so much in its infancy that my parents decided not to put me into immersion school. And I went to regular school, like most children did in Hawaii. But these immersion schools created Hawaiian thinkers and Hawaiian thought leaders that have really taken what our ancestors have done, what our kupuna have done, that's elders, and what the makua have done, which is now what I am. This is like your adults, your parents, and gone forth, and just now there's this huge resurgence, and it's not even a resurgence anymore, like, because Hawaii the language is back, and it's beautiful, and it's just, it's glowing, and it makes my heart so happy to see what has grown out of so much. Again, we can concentrate on the pain and live in the pain and be negative, or we can take that pain, we can take that struggle and turn it into something positive. And I think this is key for what we're all going through today with COVID, with our political unrest, with our social unrest. We need to stop living in the negativity and move forward to the positive, because that's the only way that's going to happen. So, and Hawaiians have this term called kapu aloha, which kapu means forbidden and aloha means love. But there's so much more than that. That actually, I said that wrong. It actually means the best way I can describe it is they are trying to build a huge telescope on Mauna Kea, which is the biggest mountain in the world if you count it from below sea level. Astronomers love this mountain. There's already,
so that's on the Big
Island.
Okay.
On the Big Island. So there's already 13 telescopes on that mountain. And I've never had difficulty with the telescopes being there. A lot of people have. I haven't. I love the fact that, people are studying the stars in Hawaii.
Yeah.
But the thing is, this telescope that they're trying to build, it's gigantic. Like, I forgot how many football fields, like, wide. And I mean, just thinking about one football field, these are football fields wide.
Wow.
And it's going to be on the mountain. And the thing is, Hawaiian cultural practitioners believe that mountain is sort of like the center. It's the center of Hawaiian culture. It's the center of us as Hawaiians. So a movement called Kapu Aloha started. And that it's like protesting, but protesting from the standpoint of aloha. So you're not fighting, you're not rioting, you're not pushing negativity in the world. When you see those pictures of the protests that are going on right now, of people and police officers hugging each other, that's Kapu Aloha. That's believing in what you believe and fighting for what you believe without the negative, without the pain. Because Hawaiians know, and those that practice this, Hawaiians know that that's the only way to move forward, is to use what we've learned and move forward in a positive way, because that's the only way change is really going to happen without people getting hurt.
Yeah.
I hope that answered your question. I went on a few tangents.
Well, I loved the tangent. It was I loved the story. I was on Guam for about 5 years, and so I made many layovers on Maui, and of course, particularly in Honolulu there. I never got to any of the other islands. What island is your family from?
So my family is from the Big Island, Maui, and Oahu.
Okay.
My parents currently live on Oahu, so I go there most of the time. The last time I was there, though, I got to spend some time on the Big Island. So that was really nice. Big Island is also known as Hawaii Island or Moku,
Right.
Moku Okeawe.
Yeah, I wish I had been able to spend more time there and have gone to some of the other islands. But Oahu, even as populous as it is, it still retains a great deal of its natural beauty.
Yeah, you just have to know where to go.
Yeah, and I have been able to. I mean, I haven't been to every place on the island, but I have been, all around the perimeter there, and have seen. It's amazing to me as small as the island is, it has so many. I mean, the geographics are so so diverse for it being such a small island there. But I know really nothing about the Hawaiian language, but just listening to it, it is one of the most melodic languages in the world. I mean, you hear people talking Hawaiian and it's almost like they are singing. And I know no other language that is that melodic. There's a lot of languages out there are like, you listen to them and it's like fingernails on the chalkboard. But Hawaiian is the exact opposite of that. It's just I mean, you don't have to know a word of it to go, wow, that is a beautiful language. And I've always been fascinated about that and wondering how it is that it came to be the melodic language that it is. And, there certainly are Hawaiian musicians, and but I don't know. Do you know some of the origins of that, and how that really has translated into native Hawaiian music?
So Hawaiian itself, and it might be also like when So back in the day when foreigners started to come, and they were brought over by the big plantations. So people from China came to work at the plantations, Portuguese. I myself, I'm actually Hawaiian, Chinese, Portuguese, Puerto Rican, French, and
Oh,
Cherokee.
really? Wow.
So all these people from other places came and mixed in
Right.
with the islands, and Hawaii was very open and very, very accepting of all cultures. So to get back to your question though, how Hawaii and the melody of the Hawaiian language came to be. I'm not a language specialist, so I can only give you my my opinion, but I think it has a lot to do with Hawaii itself. Her natural state, the winds blowing through the mountains, the like, for instance, in Hawaiian, there are, I don't know, thousands, hundreds of words for just water.
Really?
The word water. And that's it. Just, I mean, just that, and hearing how like flowing water is, and that like really, really lends itself to why Hawaiian is so melodic. If you get me in Hawaii, or if I'm talking with my family, my voice becomes very sing-songy.
Does it
I
really?
actually had once upon a time, a long time ago, I used to do theater, and I used to actually have a theater coach that had to take out some of that sing-songy in my voice because it would actually dull some of my consonants. But that's I think that's just part of Hawaii and the Hawaiian language. And for all my Hawaiian language specialists out there, please comment. Let me know, write to me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure the Hawaiian language comes from, or is related to at least, the Maori culture in New Zealand. We see them as sort of our brothers and sisters, because way back in the day, the immigrations of foreigners into Hawaii after Captain Cook, and after Hawaii was discovered by I think it was England. I'm going to get this wrong. I think that wasn't the first time people came to Hawaii. People from all over Polynesia came to Hawaii. It was an island. So people didn't just like, I don't know. I mean, maybe there was an Adam and Eve in Hawaii. I don't know, but people had to migrate there, and they migrated there from different islands: Samoa, Tahiti, New Zealand, Aotearoa. So all these islands, and I firmly believe, and I'm sure there is history and proof, but all of these people came in, and I believe that Polynesia used to have its own trading systems and its own commerce back then. Took a little bit longer because they all traveled by canoe, but I firmly believe that was the case. We used to visit each other all the time. So I really believe, and this is a longer answer than I think you assumed, but I think it's really the nature and the history of all these people combined, and all these island cultures combined, that really lends itself to the Hawaiian language. And so, going to Hawaiian music, I'm not a Hawaiian musician. My sister and brother are actually the musicians. I was one of the dancers in the family. So it's the Hawaiian music back in the day. So the Hawaiian music that we know today, with the ukulele and the beautiful melodies that come out of these beautiful Hawaiian singers, that's not what Hawaiian music used to sound like. Hawaiian music, while melodic, was more of chanting, of it didn't have those Western notes that it has today. It probably had those notes, but not in the way that we know them. But the thing is, and Hawaiians are really good at adapting and making things theirs. So for instance, the ukulele comes over to Hawaii from Portugal. It's something completely different. Hawaiians take it, make it their own. And all of a sudden you have this beautiful instrument called the ukulele that people play around the world now. And Hawaii just loves to take things and fill them with aloha and make them a little bit better. I'm trying to find ways to I guess, correlate this to large multifamily and to real estate investing. But this is all a part of who I am.
Right.
So
Yeah.
I guess that's how it lends itself to my investing experience.
Well, I guess since this really is a show for multifamily investing, uh, let's just segue into how it is that you've taken all of these life experiences and transitioned that into becoming a multifamily investor.
Let's see. So the best answer I can give you for this is I run the investor and the investor relations of our company, which I think all my background really lends itself to that, because I make sure our investors are taken care of. I make sure, not only that, I make sure that our tenants are taken care of too. Once COVID hit, the first thing that happened was that Jason took over the business and I went directly to family because we didn't know what was going to happen. So for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, almost a month, I didn't know. I kind of like took myself out of the business because I needed to focus on our children. And that's how we got them to start speaking Hawaiian and getting their education from other sources, not just what I was given by the public school system here, which is amazing. So once I started getting back in, I started to make sure that I really just want to take care of people. And the best way I know how, especially when it comes to large multifamily, because we were really good at flipping, we were really good at wholesaling, but we started excelling at multifamily because I believe in this asset class, you can help so many people. Not only the investors that come in and trust you with their money, you have a fiduciary duty towards them, which is like, for me, putting the aloha and the fiduciary duty together, that's like ultra aloha. Because you have a responsibility to them, and they're trusting you with money that they have earned, they have worked hard for.
Absolutely.
So just having the honor of taking care of that for them. And then you have the tenants that you are responsible for. These people are basically putting their lives and their families in your hands, because now they're living in your buildings that you purchased for a certain price. The numbers really worked, but you have to make sure when you're doing those numbers, you have to make sure and keep in your mind the human factor. Don't tweak your numbers so that you're taking away from making these lives better. So for instance, for Jason and I, actually a building that we sold, we did the full circle with this building. It was really amazing. It was our first acquisition. It was a 94 unit in Kentucky. And we were getting our property management company said that they were getting complaints from crime that was happening in adjacent buildings. So Jason, we come up with a plan, and Jason starts calling the police departments in the vicinity until he gets somebody that will actually talk to him and like actually take action. And we offer the police department the use of one of our units. It was open. It was facing the building. They got to do basically a sting operation, watch and put cameras on crime that was happening in this building. And because we did that, they got to take down the crime and the
adjacent communities,
I guess the bad people. And we lowered the crime in the neighborhood, and we gained the trust of the law enforcement there. And people knew that we were actively trying to make their lives and make this building a better place for them to live in. And that's where my background comes into play. That's where my need to make sure that people are taken care of with love and kindness, because we want to make sure that those people that we have a duty to protect, that we protect them. Does that make sense?
Yeah. A beautiful bringing together of a cultural heritage, surrounding aloha, and bringing it full circle. into U.S. Commerce. It's interesting to me that it was commerce that stifled your culture, your history, and coming full circle to where you are intimately engaged in commerce on the other side of the continent, away from your home there.
Oh, this is all me learning how to become the best investor so I can go back to Hawaii and invest there. Prices are,
It's
well,
very
let me just
different
say
there.
I've underwritten a few properties there and they don't work. They rarely work. So
Well, you
I'm
know,
waiting for the right one.
somebody's investing there, obviously.
Oh yeah. No, there's
So
a ton of people investing there.
yes, so
There's a ton of people investing there.
there's a way to do it. It's just
Yes.
it's probably going to be a paradigm shift.
I have yet to figure it out though.
Yeah, but
They
somebody
just don't work.
has. Yeah,
Obviously.
obviously. Different ball game for sure, though. Yeah.
Yes. Yes. Different ball game, different numbers. I have a few calls with a few Hawaii investors coming up this week, next week.
Wow.
So
Okay.
I just need to dig into the market a little bit more. It's one of those
Yeah.
things that I thought was so out of my league.
Yeah.
And now I'm just like, wait a minute. That's the same mindset I had when I first got into large multifamily. Let's tweak that mindset and say, I
yes,
can and I
can.
will. And I want to go back and help and give back to this incredible home that I have in Hawaii, the best way I know how. And the best way I know how is to make these communities and add value to these communities in a big way.
Well, I wish you the best in doing that, and I know that you will do your best as you're doing this to not only preserve the culture, but to preserve that naturally beautiful and wonderful environment. And that's going to be a really delicate balance because commerce does not typically concern itself with our environments. And so
Not typically, but Hawaiian mindset is very much going towards negating that, because there needs to be commerce. There needs to be not need, but right now that's what we need to do. We need to make sure we bring commerce and education and environmental stability and social stability and growth all together into one. And it is happening. And you mentioned Hawaiian music. It's definitely happening in the Hawaiian music community. Definitely happening in the Hawaiian music community, because they have, I would say, beyond the politicians, they have the loudest voice. They have a voice that they can use, and a lot of them do use for good, to bring out the Hawaiian culture and those good things about the Hawaiian culture. And how, there's a quote actually, and if this is the last thing I get to tell you, then I've done my job. It is, I'm going to forget who said this. I will email you and let you know who said this, but somebody very vibrant and very key in Hawaiian culture said this: the world, and I'm going to mess this up, but that's okay. The world is searching for a key. The world is searching for something. And Hawaii has the answer. And that answer, that key, is aloha. I read that quote for the first time, or maybe I finally saw it, like really saw for what it was a few weeks ago. And it turned a switch in my life. And since I've read that quote, my life is, I'm dedicating it to the advancement of aloha in the world, not just Hawaii, because aloha is the key. You see it around, and I've given you just a little bit about what that means. Aloha is the key. If I can put a little bit of aloha into the acquisitions that I make, into the investments that I make, I've done my job. If I can put a little bit of aloha into the mentees that I get to teach, then I've done my job. If I put a little bit of aloha into my podcast, into my shows, then I've done my job. So aloha, I strongly believe this. It is the key.
Well, I am just flabbergasted. It's just, it is so beautiful and really, quite frankly, very close to my heart. Though I think we're going about it in a different way. The work that I do with the equine community is very much, we haven't used the word aloha, but it is essentially a process of harmonizing the world of all species, not just the human species, but bringing harmony together essentially through the intelligence of not just human intelligence, but the intelligence of other species as well.
Yes. So, aloha extends to all. It's about the balance. It's about, because Hawaiians used to live, back in the day, used to live in balance with nature. They only took what they needed to eat, what they needed to survive, and they gave back in big ways to nature. Because, and if you look at the Hawaiian gods and goddesses of old, they emulate, no relation to though, they emulate the Greek gods of old with their fiery tempers alike, but they're of nature. So they respected nature because they were so immersed in it, and they knew that they needed to keep that balance. So I think you need to study up on Hawaiian culture. You'll see a lot of it will have parallel meanings to what I think you're doing in your life, because it's being one with nature, and it's being continuous in your search for that balance and striving. It's basically choosing kindness. Aloha is like the choice of kindness and moving forward in that.
Well, I hate to cut off our conversation here, but we have gone over time, when that's okay. It's been a wonderful, wonderful conversation. Before we go here, Pili, tell our viewers and listeners how they can connect with you and extend aloha.
Well, I will accept all aloha in all shapes and forms. You can simply email me. That's one way. Pili, Pili, at Yarusi, Yarusi Holdings.com. Or you can check me and my husband out at the Jason and Pili Project. That's on YouTube. And I am all over Facebook, all over Instagram. You can just type in Pili Yarusi. I don't think anybody else has my name. So Pili Yarusi. And I'm all over social. So find me, DM me, message me. I'm usually really good about getting back.
It's been an absolute delight, Pili. And thank you so much for taking the time to be on the show. And thank you for sharing your rich and wonderful culture and history with us.
So much aloha to you. Thank you for having me on.
Aloha. Enlightened investors, we've been more enlightened today with the Song of Aloha. To bring more kapu aloha into your life, head over to steedtalker.com and get your free ebook, Passive Real Estate Investing, Time Freedom to Live Abundantly.
Thank you for joining us on Creekside Chats with Successful Real Estate Investors, brought to you by Steed Talker Capital. For more information, as well as access to our free ebook on enhancing your well-being through real estate investing, be sure to connect with us at steedtalker.com. As part of our efforts to make the world a better place, Steed Talker Capital contributes to activities and organizations committed to better understand the equine and enhance the humane treatment of horses worldwide. Steed Talker Capital, working for a world where all creatures, great and small, flourish abundantly. Connect with us at steedtalker.com.